Hello and welcome. My name is Thomas, and in this video, we're going to talk all about creating value in your content. So I'm currently out in Oregon. I took a little drive down for a retreat as well as I am visiting some friends. Now, one of the things that all of us do when we are traveling is we tend to look for some sort of place to stay. Now, there's a number of different options that we typically have available to us. You can do something like an Airbnb. You can just kind of book ahead and contact an individual hotel and stay there, or you can do something like Expedia or Travelocity where you can kind of sort by price. Now, as I was looking for different places to stay, I saw a number of different hotels, and then I saw a couple of other places through the website I was booking with, and one of the things that caught my eye was a cottage. It's out on a nice little farm. It's a beautiful little property. It's a very kind of neatly situated, like I said, kind of on a farm in kind of a farming community. And one of the things I noticed, particularly as I was going through this, is that it cost a significant amount more than most of the hotels in the surrounding area. What I saw was that some of the hotels were kind of, at this price range, kind of battling against each other, and this one was a little bit more. Not to the point where you're like reaching 5-star, hotel level, but out of all of the kind of medium range hotels in the area, you could tell that the little cottage was a little bit more. So just out of curiosity, I went through and I looked at some of the photos that they had online, and like I said earlier, it's a beautiful little place. It's got 2 bedrooms situated on a farm, and it's totally well decorated in the inside. It's kind of like coming into somebody else's home, and it's immaculate. It looks like something out of a catalog. So partially because I've had some bad experiences in the past, and partially because it just was something new, I decided to book the cottage. So you might be thinking, okay, so what does this have to do with anything? And the interesting thing is this actually has everything to do with the type of content that you're creating. I could have easily gone to any other hotel that's kind of a medium range, and it would have had the same essentials. It would have had a bed, it would have had heat, and it would have had a roof over my head. However, I decided to go for something a little bit different, and it cost a little bit more. Why did I go through and pay a little bit more for a cottage than I would have just for something basic in a hotel? The answer to that question is value. Value is one of those words that gets tossed around a lot, particularly in the marketing sphere, particularly if you're running some sort of online business. Value goes far beyond what some people like to associate it with. It goes far beyond merely price. It is, what is that worth to you? Whether it's an experience, whether it is some training, whether it is a final result. The main word to focus upon is value. Okay, so what I mentioned at the very start of this video was specifically value in your content creation. So at this point, you're probably thinking, okay, so what does a hotel or a cottage have to do with content creation? So if I were to create a video on value in your products and services that you sell, that would be a completely different topic entirely that would really require at least one video all on its own. But what I wanted to do is focus specifically on content because, and it's very true, particularly for small businesses or independent professionals or online businesses of any kind, the first typical question is, how do I get the word out about the work that I do? And you're given 2 typical answers. One is buy ads with something like Facebook or Google, or 2, create a lot of relevant and useful content for people who want to receive it. So most people don't typically start with option 1, that is buying advertising, because advertising can get really expensive, and most people who are just starting out don't have a lot of extra funds to dedicate to their advertising. So most people then go to option 2 and they start creating content. But here's typically how most people start with content creation. They start asking these type of questions. They say, okay, so should I do a blog? Should I do a podcast? Should I do videos? How often should I post? Once a week? Once a day? Monthly? What type of software should I use? What type of camera should I buy? What type of microphone do I need? All of those things are important, but only if we answer this question first, which is, what value are we going to deliver? There's a lot of people out there who are creating content and having a difficult time making headway with the particular content that they're creating. And I've seen a lot of this myself, particularly out there more in the marketing sphere. And what you'll see is kind of a person who's creating content with their smartphone, just kind of telling people how their day went. You have to ask the question, first of all, what is in it for me? And not me, the creator, meaning me, the viewer. What is in it for me? What is it that I'm going to get out of this video? Once we answer that first question, and obviously not necessarily video, but also audio or podcast, once you can answer that initial question, first and foremost, with any piece of content that you're going to create, it's going to be that much more valuable. So years ago, and still to some degree today, a huge topic that came up in the realm of content creation was SEO, right? So you had people writing tons of articles on different topics with tons of keywords and reworking and working again, headlines and copy and everything to just make those search engines happy. But as Google evolved, as other search engines like DuckDuckGo came out, SEO tactics started becoming less and less effective. And the same thing applies to any type of content. The idea isn't we're trying to write this to make an algorithm happy. What we're trying to do is we're trying to create free, useful, relevant content for the audience that we want to serve. Okay, so then let's circle around to the main word and point that I wanted to share in this short video, which is value. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people creating a lot of content. So what I like to say is when you're creating content, whatever it is, even if you're just starting out with a new microphone for your podcast, or even if you just got your WordPress website set up and you just started blogging, whatever piece of content that you create, you want to put it up to a level at which you would want to charge for. It should have that much value packed into it, not just something that I've seen a lot of people kind of take old ebooks or articles and just kind of cobble together a quick PDF and give that away for free. There's a lot of content out there. So with every piece of content that you create, you want to make sure that it is up to a level that is going to be beyond what other people are creating. One of the things that I've done in the past is that even for free videos or some of the courses I've created, I've kind of got, and it is a little bit subjective, but I've got kind of a bar. And if I have not met or if I have not gone beyond that bar with the piece of content that I create, if I don't feel that somebody can squeeze enough content out of it that is worth that person's time, then it just gets cut completely. Try to do something similar for the content that you create. We don't want to just churn out articles to meet a weekly deadline. While it is good to be consistent, we want to create a series of pieces of content on an ongoing basis that are genuinely valuable to the people who are receiving them. Okay, so that's it. I just wanted to share that really quick tip with you today, mainly because I think it's difficult, particularly for those of us who are getting started in the content field, to know, all these different things that can distract us, that we can go out in the weeds with, tech and technology and all these different tools and resources that are available. While they are good and helpful, it always helps to be reminded of how important it is to make sure that quality and value is the pinnacle, the cornerstone of everything that we are creating. Also, one of the things I wanted to mention, if you're ever in Oregon and you're looking for a place to stay, I am going to leave a link to the cottage that I ended up staying in. These people are wonderful. They do a great job of keeping it up, and it is a beautiful place to stay and definitely beats a hotel. So as always, if you found this video useful, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're not already, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.